Peace and blessings, everyone. Tonight on the STEM Files, Tariq Cardiac and I dive in with Sister Doctors Mariam and Ruqayya Farrakhan on becoming doctors for our people. Stay tuned after this. All right.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome. STEM Files in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. I am one of your co-hosts, Jabril Muhammad, aka Jabrillion Engineer. I am a mechanical engineer with a background in material science and engineering, where I worked in failure analysis, and I'm also currently working in ship fluid systems and things of that nature. I'm also joined by my illustrious co-host, Tariq Cardiac.
Don't call me illustrious. Okay, I guess I am illustrious. But so
I got to see something to rise up to, bro.
My name is Tariq Muhammad, aka Tariq Cardiac. I am a biomedical research scientist with a primary background in cardiovascular pathobiology, which is the study of how diseases form in the heart and blood vessels. I'm excited for tonight's show. Let's get it popping.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, family, we have a jam-packed show for everyone this evening. Like I said, we are joined by two newly established doctors for our people, Sister Dr. Mariam and Sister Dr. Ruqayya Farrakhan. How y'all doing today, this evening, Queens?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you for asking.
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
Sister Ruqayya, I think you might be muted. I can't say it.
I unmuted it. Can you hear me now?
Praise be to Allah. I think sis, I can hear Sister Mariam, but I couldn't hear Sister Ruqayya just now.
It's on now. Can you hear me?
Can you hear now?
I can hear you.
That's right.
Well, all right, Jabril.
We can keep it going if you can join back in. Come back in. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work then. Yeah, it's gonna keep it going. All right, family. Well, like we said, we have a jam-packed show. We're trying to get right down to it. This is a show where we're talking about becoming doctors for our people. In a time such as this, we talk about COVID-19. When we as a people are disproportionately affected not only by this virus, but mistreated in the medical field in general. We are talking to two people who have aspired and are now working in the field, trying to deliver top-notch service to our people and really their patients in general. So quickly, Sister, if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself, who you are, and we will continue working with you all on this show.
Is it me or you?
Jabril, I don't know if you all can hear it, but I hear when Jabril speaks,
Dr. Mariam?
It's kind of delayed. Is it just me?
Jabril, hop on. I'm gonna kick you out and then hop back on. Can y'all hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Say it again, Tariq.
Jabril, I'm gonna kick you out and then you come back in.
I can hear everyone. It ends up being kind of choppy.
Let's do this.
Can you all hear me?
He's gonna come back in.
Perfectly fine, Ruqayya, and I can hear you, Tariq, as well.
Yeah.
But I think his
audio
was a little choppy.
Yeah, his audio is a little choppy, so he's gonna come back in. But let's just go ahead and get in, continue on with the show. This is some minor technical difficulties. I'm thoroughly excited for the show. I love everything about the Latin American School of Medicine in Cuba. I'm just anxious to get started interviewing you all and getting to know your journey. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Latin American School of Medicine, how it got started, the history behind it, and its relationship to the Nation of Islam?
Yes. Ruqayya, do you want to start it off, or do you want me to start it off?
You can go ahead.
Okay, can you all still see me?
No, ma'am.
No.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with this thing. Okay, hold on 1 second. So let me fix the screen. Looks like we're just having a few minor technical challenges. Okay, can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, okay. So, the Latin American School of Medicine was founded in 1999, and it was actually founded after Hurricanes Mitch and George devastated many communities in Central America as well as in the Caribbean. So, because there was so many devastations, as far as 11,000, I believe, fatalities and over $15 billion in damages to these different countries in Central America as well as in the Caribbean, the Cuban government kind of formulated a two-part plan. And I'm going to read you something that was written up some time ago that actually kind of explains the history of how the school was founded. So it says, in a response to the consequent loss of thousands of lives and the profound economic impact, Cuba responded with the creation of an integral health program. A two-part cooperative project was initiated where 2,000 medical personnel were sent to assist in the most affected and isolated territories of Nicaragua, Honduras, the Dominican Republic, and Haiti. The second initiative stemmed from the creation of the Latin American School of Medicine, which is an academic institution designed to teach and train young people from the affected areas to become clinically excellent practitioners with advanced scientific, humanistic, ethical, and humanitarian preparation. So, all the graduates from our particular program are well oriented in primary health care, as it is the foundation to satisfying the needs of our communities. So, when the ELAM program started, it started particularly with training students to become physicians from these areas that were devastated in the Caribbean and in Central America. And then and that was back in I believe it was in 1999. So then a few in 2000, in September 2000, that's when the Cuban government opened up that opportunity to U.S. students as well as students in Africa and in Asia and other parts of the world. So it really started as a humanitarian project and evolved after that. And so now what you see is a institution that has over 124, 25 countries represented. Um, so that's how the ELAM program itself started. But Rakai, do you want to go into kind of further detail of how the Nation of Islam got involved?
I think she went out for a little bit. I think she's gonna come back in. Um, but can you go into detail until she
Yeah,
comes
of
back on?
course, of course. So the way, from my understanding, how the nation got involved was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had developed relationships with Comandante Fidel Castro out of Cuba. And so he offered about 5,000 scholarships for students of color or students of underrepresented communities or low income communities to study medicine in Cuba through their public health system and to study medicine for free so that they can take what they've learned from Cuba and go back to their respective communities and serve the needs of the people. So just like the students who originally came to the program from Nicaragua and Honduras and Haiti, so they could serve their communities after devastation, he wanted to also prepare students from around the world to, particularly students of color and students of low income, to help and serve their communities because it's easier, or I feel like it's more effective when the physicians are from your community. They know what's troubling their people and they have I would say, a stronger affinity, love and compassion and determination to help people who look like them and who have gone through the same struggles that they have. And it's interesting because I remember reading an article a few days ago, actually, that kind of talked about why it's important that physicians look like you, and how treatment is usually, from the patient's perspective, is carried out when their physicians look like them and can relate to them. And so I think that what Fidel Castro and the Cuban people are doing is, just revolutionary.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, before we continue, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can hear. I'm dealing with some extreme technical difficulties because my Wi-Fi is acting
I
up.
can hear. It's still choppy though.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna just try to fight it out because I want to
Okay.
make sure that everybody participates. Jabril, did you have any questions you'd like to ask real quick before we continue? Because I know you guys were in and out.
You asked if I had anything to say. I'm sorry, it's still choppy for me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. All right,
Can you hear
we're gonna
me?
keep it.
Anyone
I can hear you, but there's a delay, so we're gonna keep it moving. Okay.
you talking about?
All right. So yeah, let's just keep it moving, family. So what were some of the unexpected lessons that you learned while living or while just living or being a student in another country?
For me, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear things in the background. For me,
Okay.
I think I learned to be grateful for the amenities and the luxuries I have in the States because, living in a third world country will really show you that, it's the little things, whether it's walking around your house barefoot or not having to take a shower with sandals or something. So, it definitely made me become more grateful of the things that I have in the States, as well as just the importance of family and how they really uplift you when you don't have the strength.
Mm. What about you, Dr. Marion?
Repeat your question one more time because I want to make sure that I answer it.
It's cool. What were some of the challenges that you faced while living in another country, or such as Cuba? Or what was it like living there, just in general?
Mm-hmm. So the challenges and what was it like? So I would say probably one of the biggest challenges for me was the Spanish language. Um, for me, that was very difficult because before going to Cuba and studying medicine, I had never taken a Spanish class. So I was coming from a position where I could speak another language. I could speak French a little bit. But I could not speak any Spanish at all. So it was kind of like being, dropped in a country or, going to a country and not being able to communicate. And that was very scary and challenging because, that it's so normal to be able to communicate. And when you have something to say, to be able to express yourself. So you can only imagine what it's like to not be able to say what it is that you want to say. And how in a particular situation, my first day, I recall being in Cuba in quarantine, and there was a situation when a young girl was kind of like having an attack, and all of us were trying to figure out what was going on. And so I was speaking English. I spoke some French at the time. Someone else spoke Spanish. Someone else chimed in Portuguese, and we found out later that she was from Tanzania and she spoke Swahili. And so it was kind of just like a very scary situation to be in because there's all these different languages, and you realize that it's the language that kind of brings us all together. And at that point, not everybody spoke Spanish. And so I think for me, like, that was pretty much the challenging part, was trying to be able to communicate and articulate myself like a college graduate but I couldn't do that because I was just learning the basics and the fundamentals. So I would say that was probably the biggest and the hardest challenges initially.
Got it. Okay, now that everybody's on, Jabril, can you hear me now? Can you hear us?
It sounds amazing right now.
Oh, thank you. I thought we'd never get over that.
He doing something tonight. But we gonna
working hard.
This.
Jabril,
Be to a lot.
Can you drop, or can either you or Tariq drop the link below so that people who are trying to get on can view it and watch it? Because I know a couple people have messaged me and said, "Where's the link?"
I'm gonna send you the link directly so you can send it to them, because everybody that's watching now is actually looking at it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send you the link now so that everybody can tune in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, Jabril, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Definitely. So, like I said, going right into the thick of it, we were talking about the background, the Nation of Islam's connection to the ELAM program, kind of the origins of everything. We were speaking how before this show, the Final Call newspaper has a wonderful article on you both and you all's journey. And I definitely just wanted to highlight that. For those who don't know, the Final Call newspaper is the flagship news source and media source for the Nation of Islam, with a mission to resurrect the Black and the Black man in America here and in the world, and to really just uplift the level of consciousness. And just in that title alone, we see a lot of this story. We see we survive now. It's time to thrive, perseverance and passion to become doctors in Cuba. So could you both kind of unpack what that title means to you in response to what you all went through to get to where you are today?
Go ahead, Mar.
Oh, I was gonna let you start. I feel like I've been talking for so long. Okay.
You get great at.
No, I don't. Go ahead, Rock. You got it.
Well, quickly, can you repeat the question? I was trying to get my battery right.
Oh
but
no,
you said the title. Was it? We survived. Now it's time to thrive.
Yes, that title. I thought that was a very important point in going into that. Yes, ma'am.
And what I think about it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I just feel like when you put in the work, you sacrifice we sacrificed a long time. And so now it's time to reap the benefits of the hard work that we put in for the last 7 years. So when I think of that statement, we survived, now it's time to thrive, now it's time to enjoy and really be of service to the people with what you learned from this foreign medical program, and now be an asset to your nation.
Right. So it also mentions in the article, and again, I'm reading it. I'm going to have to read it more than once because there's so many awesome points. It talked about, and this is a quote from you, Sister Mariam. It says, "My whole desire helping Black people through health and wellness so that we can become educated." That's also important as well. That last part was a very interesting point. So we can become educated. Can you speak to that on what you exactly meant and how health and wellness, or having a strong body, mind, and spirit in that regard, will allow us to truly be educated?
Yes, sir. So I can honestly say that I have not had the chance to yet read the Final Call article. And I know it was a very extensive interview. I think we were probably interviewed for 2 hours. So I don't know how much of it is in the article and what it actually says just yet. But what I am gonna say is that I have always had a passion for education. And I have had the desire to be an educator since I was about 7 years old. As far back, I believe it was second grade is when I recall for sure that I wanted to be an educator. And thinking about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and how he has been uplifting us as a people with the knowledge of God and the knowledge of self has been very instrumental in me wanting and understanding the value of knowledge and understanding. And so when in that particular statement, I was kind of referring to how I had always thought that I would help Black people, our people, through education. But we have to also understand that before we can even get to being educated in these high sciences, in math and in law and engineering, we have to protect us. And you get what I'm saying? Like we
Right.
have to protect
Right.
our existence because we're not surviving. We're not living to become at times lawyers and doctors and engineers, or even if we are living to that particular age where we can pursue these different things, we have to also think about what is the quality and the state of our mind at that time. And what is our thinking? How do we perceive ourselves? How do we view ourselves? And as well as our family. So to me, it's like in order to become a physician or a doctor, or I mean, a doctor or an engineer or an architect, it's like, how do we get there? And not on the educational front as far as, oh, going to college and taking these classes and things like that, but how is our mental health? Because we're dealing with traumas every single day being Black in America. And at the height of what's going on in all of the major cities and even in the suburbs, and you're talking about police brutality and just domestic terrorism and having to deal with this on a constant basis, we have to check our mental health. And then we also have to understand that our mental health plays on our physical health as well. So when you're talking about cardiovascular disease and heart attacks and strokes and things like that, how do we ever become great as a people if we can't even live and
Right.
we can't even live properly? Like, we're still in survival mode. And I think that's kind of like how we've been functioning as a
Right.
people. We are we've survived. Our ancestors survived the transatlantic slave trade. We've survived. Our ancestors have survived slavery, Jim Crow. Like, and we're still now we're considered the Obama era or post Obama era. So it's still affecting us both mentally, psychologically, and physically. So I think now I've started to really realize, okay, yes, educating us as a people is very fundamental, but we still have to take care of the physical body as well and the mental, so that we can thrive in these different classrooms and take the abundance of wealth that the minister and other scholars give us and use it to our advantage. So that's kind of unpack that's unpacking
Right.
that
That was good.
small
Yes,
little
ma'am.
sentence.
Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. That was everything I wanted and more. Prepare the vessel.
All praises
Prepare
be
the
to
vessel
Allah.
for what's to come. If the vessel isn't prepped properly, you won't even be able to comprehend that which you're trying to strive to get and then give to someone else. Wow. Praise be to Allah.
Yes,
Praise
sir.
Definitely. As a matter of fact, we got a few questions in the comment section. This is from Shahid the scientist. Knowing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted to destroy the... Is someone typing?
It's not me. I hear it though. It's like,
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, that's fine. Knowing that the Honorable...
I'm like, would it be different because I'm on my phone?
No, you're fine. It just sounds like somebody's on a keyboard. So knowing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted to destroy the traditional medical industry because it has become primarily a drug dealing industry, how has that steered and altered your journey in medicine?
Well, for me, my interest is family medicine, and I think it's important because in America, we do focus heavily on pharmaceuticals where we're just drugging people up a lot of times. And I think it's important. In Cuba, we learned a more preventative approach where it's good to treat people or educate people prior to them creating problems for themselves in the future. So if we get to them at an early age or we're dealing with them on a regular basis, it's easier to treat or prevent chronic illnesses from the beginning, thus not needing pharmaceutical drugs, you know? So, you know, I think that that's just what we have to do with what we've learned from this medical program, is that really we just have to, you know, educate people early so that we can prevent problems in the future, so that we don't have to rely on drugs.
Preventative maintenance.
Yeah, I want to kind of go into, well, I'm gonna let Dr. Mariam answer that as well.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, we're really given the best foundation with the book that the messenger gave us, which is How to Eat to Live, book 1 and book 2. And see, the problem is that book is so simple that we overlook it, because it's a really easy read.
It's so simple.
It's like it's so simple. It's a really easy read. You can read the book in like a day, 2 days if you're a slow reader. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, it's so simple that sometimes I think we kind of think that in its simplicity is just too basic, and that couldn't be what the answer is. Like that couldn't be the solution to all of our problems. But I think we really, and I say we, us on this call, the people that are watching in the comments, like we really have to get back to the basics, because it is our foundation. And we all know that if your foundation is weak, everything else is going to crumble. So the foundation has to be strong. So yes, we have these different pharmaceutical companies, and we have all of these different medications that help us, but it's not curing anything. These medications don't cure us. They help to treat different illnesses and diseases, but we're trying to keep ourselves, one, as Rakaya talked about prevention. So prevention is really the key. And I think that can't be stressed enough. Like when Cuba talks prevention and moves out on prevention, it's not because, oh, this is just the cool thing to do. Not only is it more cost effective, which we have to really think about, because we're dealing with a country, we've learned in a country that does not only does it not have access to some of the resources that the U.S. and other industrialized nations have, but they are trying to make sure that their people are healthy. And so when you think on prevention and education, and prevention meaning not just eating properly, but also going for walks and exercising, and, you know, not being stressed out and trying to control the stress that you have around you, that's necessary. And so when we think about pharmaceutical companies and just medications, yeah, they will help and they will sustain your life, but it's because you've already damaged yourself, and your body is so amazing in that it tries to fix everything that you do wrong to it. But after it's gone through so much and you've stretched it outside of its threshold, now you have to rely on these medications that can help kind of alleviate the pain, and they can prolong your life, but they don't really cure it. So how about instead of us trying to just treat illnesses, we try to prevent illnesses from the very beginning. So I think the real thing is getting back to the basics, and it starts with us. It starts with us being an example for our families and our households. As engineers, as scientists, we have to understand that we are the new role model. We are the standard. So in understanding that we are playing these active roles in being role models, whether we choose to be role models or not, we have to understand that people are looking to us for guidance. And so it really just goes back to what the messenger has been teaching this whole time.
Yeah. And speaking of nutrition, you know, we're taught that when a messenger is sent, or when someone is sent to lift a people, one of the first things that they teach them is diet, or the things not to eat and the things not to eat, because it sets the the standard and the foundation for everything else that you do, which we already talked about. But let's talk about the importance of incorporating nutritional sciences in the medical school education. Did you all experience that in Cuba? And why is it important for schools in the United States or schools all over the world to incorporate nutrition into their curriculum?
Most definitely. Most definitely. So I'll just say a few tad bits and I'll let Dr. Rakaya speak. So they did incorporate nutrition, and I saw it heavily in our pediatrics course, which is interesting. And the reason why I say it's interesting is because you would think that it would be kind of one of the cornerstones of our medical education throughout our 7-year journey. But what I really, really did find was that it was heavily implemented in our pediatrics course, which kind of to me tells me that it starts when you're young. You have to start understanding nutrition and what's necessary, what the body needs at a young age, and making sure that you incorporate that in children so that it becomes a lifestyle. So I think that should definitely be something that we do more of in our medical education, not just in Cuba, but all over the world, is making sure that nutrition is heavily, heavily discussed and understood.
Dr. Ukai?
So my take on nutrition, I think it's yes, like Mariam stated, we did learn a lot about it in our pediatric rotation. But it also, we see that, when we deal with adults, a lot of their issues can be prevented had they eaten right.
Right.
So I think having those discussions, which we have done in our certain rotations, educating people about the proper foods to eat, or if they have bad habits, try to decrease their bad habits. So that's my take on nutrition. It's very important.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And you know what? Just to add to that, Rakai and I, throughout every rotation that we've done, we've always had to incorporate educating our patients and natural medicine in every single rotation. So if a patient comes to the hospital complaining of whatever condition they have, they were always talking about, okay, so what is your diet like? What are you eating? What is your exercise like? So we're always incorporating some aspect with natural medicine as well as nutrition in everything that we do.
Well, for those who are watching, this is the STEM Files, where we highlight the best and brightest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the Black and Brown community. I felt this was an important show to start 4 years ago when we were on Blog Talk Radio, because I wanted not only the general Black community, but I wanted the Nation of Islam to see the scientists and engineers and the amazing STEM talent that we have from within the nation alone.
That's right.
Right. So I love this platform. I encourage everyone to go ahead and like us on all our social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Definitely follow us on Facebook and like us on Facebook. Share this video to everybody you know. If you are a supporter of STEM talent, especially Black STEM talent, this is the show and the platform for you. So once again, thank you, doctors, for joining us this evening. Jabril, you have anything you got? I know you got something, so I don't know why I got to ask.
Yes, sir. I always got something to drop on the people. Going back to the comments, we have another question. Our brother Daniel Forex asks, what are the key differences of the doctor-patient relationship in Cuba versus America? And I think you both started to speak to some of that when you talk about prevention versus treating and some of the questions that you're asking patients. So if you could unpack that, that would be great.
Okay, I guess the pause is me. So, the differences. Well, one, we start dealing with patients very early on in our career, as well as we really talk to our patients, and it's not like some time thing where you have to, try to get everything out as quickly as possible. Like, they really encourage us to be exhaustive. I feel like I'm speaking Spanish. Exhaust, right? No? Right. Whatever. To talk a lot.
Right.
Just really get to the bottom of what our patients are dealing with. And a lot of times you find that when you speak to somebody and you're asking them so many questions, you end up finding so much more about this patient and what's really bothering them versus the reason why they came in. Because it could be something that's totally not related to the reason they came in that's causing the issue that you have. So talking to them, and then you get to know their families, because their families are very active in their health. So talking to the families, you get down to the family history and seeing how you can prevent those issues from happening, or if they do have those issues, what they're at risk of having. So we are really uncovering a lot of information about our patients that we don't necessarily do here in America, which is unfortunate, because everything here, I feel like, is on like a time schedule. You have so many patients, but in Cuba, we really take the time to talk to our patients and get to the bottom of everything. And you even end up building these relationships outside of outside of the office, where you see the people on the street and they'll come up and talk to you and just tell you like, yeah, whatever when you diagnose this, I'm feeling better. I'm doing better. I changed this. Like, they talk a lot about their health.
Uh-oh. Go ahead. You good.
About discussing their health with you, as opposed to being here where everything's very secretive and, I don't want nobody to hear what I gotta say, So that's, to me, is like the bigger differences from like here in America versus in Cuba.
Wow. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
No. I heard that crackling sound again. Go ahead, Brother Tariq.
No, I was just gonna ask you your take on that.
I think Dr. Rakaya was absolutely correct in that we are encouraged to have relationships with our patients, like real relationships, not this superficial rapport where it's just like, oh, I exhibited empathy and compassion in 2 sentences, and that was it.
Right.
I asked her, how do you feel and are you okay? And it was, it's not that cut and dry and very rigid. Like, they really, really encourage us to have real rapport, real relationships with our patients. And like Rakai was saying, we'll see our patients in the calles, which is the streets, and they'll be like, hola doctora, mira, tengo una pregunta, and you be like, I'm not at the office, but what's up? I'll help you. And what's going on? And they'll show you their foot, or they'll show you their child and be like, look what happened. Did you see this? Can I show you? And you're like literally doing doctor work on the street, on your way to, go buy groceries or something like that. So one of the things that happens in Cuba is like, we do these different kind of like medical campaigns where we'll be going door to door, kind of like epidemiology work, where we'll go door to door and canvass different areas to see if anyone's sick, anyone has fever, for different illnesses that may be going on, or viruses during that particular season. And so it's so normal for someone in the community to open the door to their home and say, oh, come in and have a cup of coffee with us and sit down, and this is my family and these are my children, and if you need anything, I'm your other auntie here, or I'm your grandmother, and you can come and ask me anything. If you need anything, I'm here for you. And it's just normal. It's so normal, and it's honestly beautiful and refreshing. It's one of the things that I recall being kind of like tearful about as far as Cuba is concerned, because being able to canvass your own community and know how many people are dealing with obesity, how many people are dealing with hypertension, and they willingly give you that information, and you being able to take that back to the local clinic and say, okay, this is the demographics. We're dealing with 30% of the population suffering from hypertension. We're dealing with 20% of the population dealing with obesity. Now we can work on these issues for this particular community. I don't really feel like that would be, I don't really think in America people will be so open to sharing their personal health and their medical issues with a doctor that just came and knocked on their door and said, hey, I live in your neighborhood. I'm the local doctor. If you need anything, let me know, hit me up, and we're going to take care of it as a community. Like, we're so private. Most of us don't even know our own neighbors. So
and half the people don't want to tell you they're obese.
Exactly. So it's so different. So when Rakaya talked about us having a relationship with our patients, that's real. And we really work on somebody's phone is cracking. So when we are working with our patients, we actually try to do it sometimes even as a family, because in America, everything, you have all these HIPAA laws and restrictions, and it's kind of like you can only say certain things to the patient, and everything else, the husband won't know, the wife won't know. But in Cuba, it's an accountability system. It really is. So you'll come in and, we'll be talking about, your hypertension or your gout or your obesity, and your mom is right there, your sister's right there, your cousin, and they all over there like, yeah, she do be eating snacks at 9 p.m. at night. She does have an extra down. I saw her. No, don't lie, because I saw you at 2 o'clock in the morning getting a cup of orange juice, knowing good and well you got diabetes. You know,
right.
It creates this kind of thing where, okay, so now, my patient may have been telling a little fib, but their family member is there to make sure that their health is put in check. Because at the end of the day, we take care of each other. Our families are the one that helps us through sickness and illness and disease. So if I'm going to be responsible for that, I'm also going to help you and keep you accountable to what your doctor is saying. If your doctor is telling you that you need to walk every day, I might, as a physician, say, hey, listen, exercising sometimes isn't fun, but you need to do it. So how about and I've told my patients, I said, turn on some music, turn on some salsa, just dance for 20 minutes.
Right.
Do you mind dancing with her mom or dad? Why don't y'all dance together? Right. And literally, they're like, okay, we can do that. Yep, we can do that. Even in a pandemic, we can sit in the house and we can turn on 20 minutes of some salsa music and just dance.
Teach.
Right.
So yeah.
And you spoke a lot about speaking Spanish. You both even spoke a little bit of Spanish just now. Well, this question is actually from my lovely wife, Sister Kiera. The question is, now I'm gonna give you a prelude to this question. So the courses that you take in medical school are very science heavy. Like you got stuff like immunology, histology, microbiology, stuff like that. And then on top of that, you have to learn these heavy sciences, these intense sciences on top of another language. So what was it like learning those courses in Spanish, and how were you able to adjust and still succeed? Well, obviously you did, but how were you able to adjust to the new language, adjust to the intense scientific study at the same time, and being able to, see it all the way through the 6 years?
Well, because the program was in Spanish, it was sink or swim. You were forced to speak Spanish. So for me, because I was studying in Spanish, I think that's probably why I did better. I don't know. Because I was really studying, because I had to make sure I understood what I was reading. So it was like reinforcing. I did a lot of reinforcing with my studies to make sure I was actually understanding what they were saying. And comprehension is real. So we studied a lot. And that studying helped, that bettered our Spanish. And you know, all praise to Allah, we were successful with it. But it
Right.
wasn't easy. But once you look in the dictionary 12 times for the same word, you're like, I got it. I finally got what
Right.
struggle means. You know, like you see it so many times where it's just like you just keep looking in your book, and eventually it sticks. Where once you see those words, you can just kind of read through it where you got it.
Wow. So were you guys able to like? So are you guys able to speak fluent Spanish now, or is it just medical? Like was it all encompassing? Like you had to learn the entire language?
We speak, write, read Spanish.
Got it.
Crazy.
But you know, I think like when you get to like street talk, street slang, I'm not the best with
I can
that.
imagine.
I can have a very proper conversation with you.
Right.
It's a proper Spanish.
The certain dialects and everything when people in the corner, like.
Right.
Yep. No sick.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. Right. Every other word. I feel it. Praise be to Allah. Family. Thank you so much.
Hold on, Jay. Hold on.
Go ahead.
One second. I was going to ask Dr. Mariam a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said you want to ask the same question?
Yeah, just like what was it like?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, of course. Okay, so I'm going to say first and foremost, it was very difficult, right? For me personally. Like I said earlier in the recording, I said, yo, I did not speak any Spanish before coming to Cuba. And a lot of people say, like, I don't really speak Spanish, but you may have taken it in high school or you may have taken it in college. And you definitely sometimes feel like you don't know the language going to a country that speaks Spanish fluently. And that is their native language. And you're like, my little 3, 4, 5 years of speaking Spanish in my 1 hour a day class is nothing. But I really came to Cuba not speaking any of the language. I remember like the only word that I knew before going was hola, and it was crazy. So people were looking at me like, I can't believe you're going to medical school in Cuba and the entire course is in Spanish and you don't speak any Spanish. But thankfully, our program has a 1 year kind of like pre-med portion. And that portion is kind of broken up into two parts. One being an intensive Spanish course that's 6 months, and then the other being all of the pre-med courses in Spanish to kind of reinforce what you've just learned. So it was very difficult. I remember saying that biochemistry felt like 3 languages because biochemistry in and of itself was a language to me.
Right.
Then on top of it, in Spanish was making it another language. I was like, yo. And then, I was just like, biochemistry is just, it's 3 languages to me. Like, it was difficult. However, one of the things that I think really helped me was the fact that Cuba is a very, we all need to become doctors. It's a community effort, even within medical school. So although, a lot of times when people think about medical school, they think about how people are competitive, and it is competitive, but not in the same sense where we're doing things maliciously to make the other person look bad and so we can look a little bit better. Like, it doesn't work like that. And so for us, all of our grades were public. So if you were struggling, if you were having challenges, everybody knew it. So for example, if I got a C, right, everybody knows like, Mariam got a C on that last test, because it doesn't say, just number 9754, whatever. It says Mariam Aliyah Farrakhan, Estados Unidos, the United States of America, C. So now everybody knows, okay, we have to come together and make sure that whatever she doesn't understand, whatever she's missing, we're going to help. And so it becomes this okay, we're a collective, we're a team. Because if one person doesn't become a physician, that means that there's one less person treating someone in their community. You see what I'm saying? And easily one physician may have 500 or 1,000 people that they attend to. So when you lose a doctor in medical school, it's a real problem. You feel it. Even though it might not be you, you feel it. You're like, damn, that was, the girl from I don't know, South Africa or Angola or wherever the person may be from. And that was a community of people that have to wait one more year to get a doctor, or they may never get a doctor. So for me, it was all about group effort, about getting the help and the support when I needed it, because it was challenging. It was definitely hard. I remember spending long hours studying and still being like, what? I didn't get it? How? I studied though. I put all of my time and energy, and I know people who are in the sciences have had that issue where they go and study as long as hard as they could, to the point where you dream medicine, you dream your mathematics or your biology or your chemistry or your engineering class, and you're like waking up in the middle of sleep like, okay, the square root of,
Right.
like like people have those moments to the point where you start dreaming the things that you're like studying, because it's ingrained in you like that, and you're just like, okay, this is serious, this is important. So at times when I felt like I was struggling or when I needed extra help, thankfully I had, my friends from the Caribbean and from Tanzania and other countries that were like, yo, we got you, we're gonna help you out. Like, if you don't get it, I'm gonna explain it to you. And sometimes it took someone explaining it to me in English, because I'm like, I don't get this. Like, what are you trying to say? So that's how I would sum that up.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Wow. Well, family, as we are approaching the end of the show, thank y'all so much, those who are watching, for bearing with us as we had our technical difficulties. We still were, we had a strong show. Thank y'all so much. Again, we are the STEM Files. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at the STEM Files. Follow us on Instagram at the THESTEM FILES, the STEM Files. I do have another question. I promise my brother-in-law is gonna get this question.
Oh no. Well, I got two more questions, so you good.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure we get this done. You know what I'm saying? Like we started off a little bit rocky, but we gonna get this in. So and he gets right to it. He says, Brother Rasul, he says, when do you think you will be ready to start the process of building a hospital with others who see the vision and want to help?
2030.
2030.
Yes.
Whoa.
Rasul, so if you feeling it,
He gave a year.
She had that year on day.
Right, 2030.
2030. So that's 9 years. So I know you're gonna say that's not fast enough. So maybe we need to get some interfacing going.
Well, you know what? It is a long time, but it isn't,
right.
because
Right.
I understand that we need it now.
Right.
We needed it 10 years ago. We needed it 20 years ago.
Right.
And the reality is Zakai and I have just graduated. We have to go through residency,
That's right.
and that takes time. That takes 4 to 5 years, depending on what it is that we're going into, or 3 to 5 years, depending on our specialty. And then, if we decide to do fellowships and things like that. So we, not only is it about creating and building a hospital, but it's about being doctors of excellence, right? We don't want to just be doctors. We don't just want to be your community doctors. We're trying to save lives. So don't think that in those 10 years, we won't be doing things to help save our people. Not only physically while we're working in the hospitals, but we can be doing things right now, today, to make sure that we're increasing the livelihood, the longevity of our people. So yes, 10 years is a long time from now, but I graduated from high school 11
I was just about to say
I'm
that.
like, look
I
at the
graduated
time.
high school in 2011.
I graduated high school in 2009. That is 11 years that just went by, and it went by like that. So I know that, listen, there are people right now in our nation who are physicians, practicing physicians who have finished their residency training, who are attendings, who are in different positions that can start that process. That doesn't mean that we can't start a clinic in the meantime, you know, but I have my mind set on, okay, we're going to have a hospital by 2030. So,
Praise be to Allah. And then it's crazy. I'm glad you mentioned clinic. The Ministry of Health here in Richmond, Virginia, or the local branch of the Nation of Islam Ministry of Health, we're working very hard to establish a clinic here in the city of Richmond, Virginia. So that clinic will definitely serve as like a beacon or a source of encouragement for medical professionals all over the world, especially in our community, to really jumpstart that process. I have another question. Is also from my wife. She said that now that you're physicians, what is the one thing you hope to accomplish in your future careers?
Well, I have it. I don't want to say it because I am very kind of like, now, you know how you're kind of protective over your vision and ideas.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know, that negative energy is real, and you be like,
yes.
We in research and development, Queen. We get you.
Totally.
So I'm gonna keep it very general and broad, just because I don't want to be, you know, very narrow on it. Because it is something that I've been working on currently and I'm hoping to develop out. I hope you all didn't hear my dog, but develop out. I'm sorry, somebody rang the doorbell.
Okay.
In the next year, but I would say the goal now that we are physicians is to strengthen the pipeline, right? To strengthen the pipeline of young Black and Latino and Native American or our indigenous communities to become healers in whatever aspect that may be, for us to make sure that we create and help to encourage and support and champion future physicians. So I'm gonna put a link, inshallah, and if I can figure out how to do this, in the chat, because I just started a book club. And we're going to be starting off with reading Medical Apartheid. I don't know if you've all heard of that.
Yes.
But Medical Apartheid, it documents the history of the African-American experience as it relates to medicine and medicine on Black bodies from slavery up until the present. So I'm going to try to put the link in the chat so that people can officially join the book club as we're getting ready to understand why there are so many, why there's a disconnect between medicine and the Black and brown community. And I think, you know, sometimes people are like, maybe this will discourage people from seeing their physicians. No, I want you to see why we need us to be physicians, why we need people that look like us, not only just look like us, but are very dedicated to the service and the sacrifice that is needed to become a physician of excellence for our people and for our community. So, inshallah, give me a few minutes or a few seconds, and I'm gonna type the information for the book club in the chat. So, go ahead, Rakai, take it away.
Just go ahead and send me that link, and then I'll go ahead and put it in the chat, because you can't.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, mine just got real zoomed in. Look, I forgot the question. Mar was spitting. Go ahead. What was the question?
That one thing you want to do now that you're a physician. Yeah. That one goal.
One goal?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, on a broad platform, what I want to accomplish from, I want to be a mother eventually. So I think just finding that balance to be a great mother and wife and doctor all in one, that's a goal of mine, to just really, I feel like sometimes when you pursue such a prestigious career that, you can't, you have one but not the other. And so for me, I would like to have those desires all around be met, and not just limit myself to just medicine, but, you know, the other, not limit myself, you know, so
Right.
that's one of the goals. And of course, you know, just inspire young girls and young men to accomplish whatever dream that they have for themselves, because it's never too late. And I feel like if I could do it, so can you.
Right.
So
Wow.
that's where I'm at with it.
Absolutely. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I have one last question. I try to keep the show. We try to keep the show at an hour max. We don't believe in long drawn out lectures as podcasts. So we try to keep everything within a certain time frame. So my last question is this: just as everyone can see from your names, you all are relatives of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Both of you are his granddaughters, and I wanted to ask you all, how does the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan feel about his family or his grandchildren becoming physicians? How has that made him feel? How has he expressed his gratitude to you all? I know he's proud of you, but I want to know just how has his reaction been since you graduated? How has his reaction been throughout your entire journey in medical school?
He's definitely very, very proud. He's very happy. He's said to me several times, just how happy he is and how he was just waiting for both Rakai and I to return to celebrate, because this really is not just, to me, it's not something that can just be celebrated by us, because this to me is a communal win. It's a group win.
Right.
It's a win for the entire nation. So, people are like, you got your degree. I'm like, we did this though.
Right.
This was not a one person thing. This was a team, and we are a team. So we just got another doctor to the team. We got 2 more doctors for the team. So I think that the minister is very, very happy, very proud, and just can't wait to celebrate with Rakai and I, and we can't wait to celebrate with the entire nation. So inshallah, we'll do something very soon to just celebrate the entire journey, and just so you all can know more about it, and we can just unite as one big family.
That's right.
About you, Dr. Rakai?
Well, like Mariam said, I know he's very happy. And for me, in my journey, I depended heavily on my family to get through. And so a lot of times when I felt like my dad couldn't get through to me, I was speaking to my grandfather, and he always gave me words of encouragement to just keep pushing and accomplish this goal. So as Mariam stated, this isn't just a win individually. It is, we did it as a collective, and, we're very proud of our accomplishments, but it couldn't have happened without them and the nation. It just was everybody. It was all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. And, Gabriel, we actually just got finished talking about family and how everybody, and that we actually talk about this on every show, to be honest, about the importance of family supporting your dreams and your goals. And I can definitely say with all honesty that all 4 of us are products of families that believed in us and support us in everything that we do. All of us on this podcast are nation babies, 2nd, 3rd generation Muslims in the Nation of Islam. So it's very refreshing to see that our future is very bright, very, very bright. We also have another guest on the line. I see we have a third.
Say hi to the camera and tell them your name. Don't be shy now. You just walked on. Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. Tell them your name.
I'm Samima.
Samima?
Samima Farrakhan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Queen. That's what I'm talking about.
Praise be.
You said that full name.
Yes.
Farrakhan. That's my name.
It's so interesting because her sister, her name is Sadia. She's 12, right? Is she 12? I think she's 12. I think she's 11 or 12. And she said, I want to be a doctor. And she was like, I want to be a doctor like you. And I said, well, what kind of doctor do you want to be? And she was like,
I want to be a doctor.
see, this is the beautiful thing. Like, you know, to inspire our believers, our family around us. Like, this is what we want. And there is I think it was the first Black female Surgeon General. I think her name is Joycelyn Elder. She said,
Yep.
you can't be what you can't see, right? And so how it's so important, not only that we see physicians that look like us, or we see people in positions that we want for ourselves, and we obviously know that we have to, as I think the minister says, we have to, what does he say? We have to, it's not strive for positions that are awaiting us. It's
Qualify
ourselves. That's it. We have to qualify ourselves for positions that await us.
Right.
So just knowing that, to me, I think that means two things. Not only should we we should see ourselves as the persons that we want to become, but we should also find mentorship and look to those who have already done what it is that we're trying to do, and get the guidance and the understanding and the wisdom that they have, so that we can do it and do it better and more effectively. So, yes, that's all I have to say.
A doctor.
Both. Well, I am a doctor, so you want to be a doctor.
And Sonny wants to be a doctor too.
Exactly. So we have two more doctors coming.
Praise be to Allah. I actually have one more question that we're gonna wrap up the show. And this is not something you have to answer right now, because you may not have decided yet. But is there any specific branch of medicine that either of you want to go into?
Yes, so I am interested particularly in obstetrics and gynecology, so women's health.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
And when you see the number of women, especially women of color, who are dying, when you talk about the fetal maternal mortality rates and how it's devastating amongst our community in particular, when I hear about, or when I heard about like Kira Johnson's story and so many other women, it makes me know that this is necessary. It's necessary that we have not only more of us, or people of color, Black people within medicine, but we need to be across all disciplines, the different specialties. So I'm very, very interested in OB-GYN. I've been interested in that for some time, but you know, there are a lot of different specialties that pique my interest, and I think that really, in truth, they're all amazing. But I have a passion for OB-GYN.
Well, cardiology is the best. I'm not being biased.
Well, I mean, you're making babies now. Hold on, let's be real. Like, we are some producing people, so I just feel like every time I turn around, I see somebody pregnant, and I'm like, ooh,
right.
I get all excited.
Right. Dr. McCall,
So for me, my interest is family medicine or emergency medicine. And, you know, like Marin said, and I said it earlier, you know, I just think it's really important that you have the representation where people can see someone that looks like themselves at an early age and know that whatever they decide to do with their life is possible. So, you know, inspire, prevent, get everybody on board.
Protect.
I like that. Sounds like a inspire, prevent, like that.
Right. Now we got which area is best battle going. We talking about now obstetrics is the best. Cardiac is the best. Oh man, praise be to Allah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and come to the conclusion of the show. We just want to say thank you both for joining us. I love the energy that was on the show tonight. I love and despite the technical difficulties, we were still able to get everyone was still able to get their points across, and we were still able to educate our audience about what it is that you both have just accomplished and will be accomplishing in the future. Once again, for those who would like to learn more about the STEM Files, you can visit us on our social media at the STEM Files, YouTube, the STEM Files, exactly as you see it. And then, of course, on Instagram at the STEM Files. If you do not see that logo, it is not us.
That's right.
If you do not see that logo, it is not us. All right, family. And Jabril,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. I really, really enjoyed it. I can't even lie. I was nervous. I was like, oh my God, what are they going to ask me? But this has really been a great experience, a great opportunity. And I really enjoyed it. I'd love to do it again.
Right.
Absolutely.
And definitely
yeah, definitely a part two. Jabril, can you tell us what powers the STEM Files and what is the overall, or what the parent of the STEM Files is, so to speak?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the STEM Files is powered by Original Man Scientific. Original Man Scientific is Brother Tariq and I's research and development company geared towards delivering the advantages of R&D to marginalized groups and other underrepresented groups around the world. It is one of our main ways of really getting the voices of STEM out in the open, but also being able to network with our guests, having guests network with each other to build, like you were saying, that pipeline in all areas of STEM, furthering that mission. So again, with that, the parent company, you can also follow us on Instagram at Old Man Sci for Original Man Scientific. That's OMANSCI_ on Instagram as well. And you can also do that on Facebook too to see the work that we're doing. A lot of big things coming up in the R&D area for us. And we're going to continue to utilize this arm, the STEM Files, as well as that to move our people forward in the areas that we want to do. So we'll be looking and pulling on you sisters in the future, looking to assist you in whatever you all need help with. And yes, my father-in-law is funny. So do either of you all know Sister Miyata?
Say that again, bro. Okay, he's asking, do you all know Dr. Miyata out of Atlanta?
So I've met Dr. Mayada several times at Day. Thank Allah for Savior's Day, because that really brings us all together. But I can't wait to work with her and do some more with her, because she is she actually graduated from the ELAM program. So I believe she was the first graduate from the Nation of Islam who graduated. And I know she did her residency at Morehouse, and now she's an attending physician. Yes. I believe she's in family medicine.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yes, but we have to do some more connecting, because y'all know that Cuba internet is crazy and telecommunications is difficult. So we're gonna work on strengthening that relationship and those partnerships that we have, because there are a lot of physicians that I didn't even know that we had in the nation. I don't know if you all knew, but we got doctors all over. Like,
that's true.
Saw one in Vegas, another in Cali, and then Philly. I was like, what?
Yeah. So I brought that up because Dr. Miyata is my sister-in-law. So,
really?
Yes, I'm married to a younger sister, Khalifa. So my father-in-law asked if y'all had known her. So I wanted to make sure that connection can definitely be made to happen very easily. So praise be to Allah.
Well, send over her contact details, because I don't know if I have her new details since I've been back in the country. So definitely send
Yes, ma'am. We can make that happen. Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Well, family, thank you again so much. Family, this has been another edition of the STEM Files, right? Becoming doctors for our people. We've had a wonderful show. Thank you for bearing with us, and we're going to continue to get you all great content, bring you the best in science and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We are your co-hosts, Jabril Engineer and Tariq Cardiac. Family, I had a wonderful time, and we're going to see you all next time on the STEM Files. Tariq, what's going on next time?
Our next guest on the STEM Files. You know what, family? I usually remember who the next guest is, so give me 2 seconds while I look at the list.
It's all good.
Who the next guest is. And that is on August 13th. we have the Hip Hop MD. I don't know if you're familiar with him on social media, but he incorporates hip hop and different types of music to make science more exciting and more energetic and fun for young people to learn. You can follow him on Instagram, the Hip Hop MD. It'll pop right up. We're looking forward to that. That episode is going to be August 13th, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely tune in.
All right, family. Thank y'all so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
I still am
well, one more thing, and then we're gonna go. How can everyone follow you or contact you on social media?
Okay, well, my social media is at mfargon. So that's me. You can contact me on social media or through Facebook, but it's probably best through Instagram because I usually am really good at answering messages. So, or you could join the book club and then we'll dialogue.
Awesome. And that book club link is in the comment section on both Facebook and YouTube. So definitely check that out. Dr. Wakai, how can we contact you?
It's the @ Dr._Farrakhan or Dr._Farrakhan.
Got it. They can pretty much just look up your name and it'll pop right up. I forgot to put in the social media handles and the emails prior to the show, so bear with me on that. So can you guys also give your email addresses?
My email, sure. It's my first and last name at gmail.com. So Mariam Farrakhan, Mariam spelled like the mosque, Farrakhan spelled like the minister.
Farrakhan.
right.
At gmail.com. So you can go ahead and send me an email.
Okay.
Very good to a lot.
And the same for you, Dr. Wakai?
It's the same. My first name, last name.
Got it. Very simple, straight to the point. No confusion. All right, family. Well, thank you again for joining us on the STEM Files. This has been another edition. Definitely check us out on our August 13th episode, which is, I believe, next Thursday. So definitely check us out. And we look forward to having you all again on the STEM Files. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.